to the Money Room. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. This is an educational real estate investing platform where we're going to share with the world our years of experience, knowledge, and research of us closing a bunch of deals with various real estate investor strategies where we've been successful and made a lot of money. And with the purpose of this podcast is for others to learn from us and be just as successful or even more successful than us with real estate investing.
I'm Marley. My primary real estate strategy is wholesaling real estate.
I'm Ant. My real estate investment strategy is the BRRRR strategy.
I'm Lem, and my real estate investing strategy is mobile home investing.
Hey, it was good, fellas.
It's good to see y'all, man.
What's up?
Okay. Y'all making the money. Not letting it make y'all.
Hmm.
All right. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about getting out the mud, right? Which I would do if y'all were starting your businesses from zero.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
Which a lot of people hit me up, starting from zero.
Well,
So
yeah.
Right.
I mean, we started from zero.
Yeah,
So you got to
for
start
sure.
somewhere, right?
For sure.
All right, Lynn, what you got?
If I was to do it all over again, right, and start from zero, the first thing that I would do is start driving for dollars, right? With driving for dollars, I'm gonna drive around mobile home parks, right? Oh, and to rewind, if your mobile home is in a mobile home park, you own a mobile home. You don't own the land that the home sits on, right? The land that the home sits on is called a lot, and you have to pay lot rent every month to that mobile home park to have your home sitting in there, right? And that can vary from location to location. Typically, it could be from $400 to $1,000, a month, depending on the location that you are. So to start, I would go to these mobile home parks and drive around, right? I'm driving around. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to the residents, asking anybody if they know anybody that's selling their home. Because they might know somebody that doesn't have a sign outside, right? That's pretty common with mobile home investing, and people that selling their mobile homes is they won't have a for sale sign outside. So I'm talking to people, and then I'm looking for homes that does have the sign outside as well. And then I'll talk to park managers too, just to ask them if they know anybody that's selling a home.
What's vacant?
That's vacant. Yup, anything like that. So I'm just driving around, getting a feel for everything, And then if somebody is selling, I'm looking to get a, how do I say this? I'm looking to keep record of every person that said that they were selling a home or bought a home, and I want to keep track of the price. So I can, so I can have that for later on from when I'm selling a home.
Okay. So let's give them some actionable items, right? Like the
Right.
audience. So say somebody hit you up and it was like, yo, Lim, where exactly do I start? I got an hour a day to figure something out. You know what I mean?
All right.
After work. So what you telling them from Monday through Friday within that hour, what should they be doing?
So what you're going to do, you're going to go on a website called mhvillage.com, right? And on that website, it tells you every single mobile home park in the world, in the United States, right? So you're going to go to mhvillage.com and you're going to search a city or a state, and you're going to look at all the mobile home parks in that area, and then you're going to pick one every day to go and drive around.
That's tough. I ain't
For
gonna
sure.
fret.
Yeah.
That's tough.
For sure.
And even if you don't got a car, right? Like, no excuses. Take a bike.
Right, take
walk,
a bike,
take the
bro.
bus, whatever you
Walk,
got.
take a bus,
That's
whatever. It's a lot of people in these mobile home parks that don't got cars. So however they get there is how you need to get there.
That's tough.
I mean, even back in the day, like a lot of people was like walking for dollars, like knocking on doors, like
Take a
literally door
jog.
to door. So you trying to sell a crib?
For sure.
What you
MH
got?
Village, that's tough.
All
That's
right.
tough.
What about you, Molly?
So before I even, give that out. So wholesaling real estate, that's me finding a distressed seller that's willing to, sell their property at a discounted rate. And then at the same time, I'm finding an end buyer who's willing to buy that same property for a higher price. And I'm making that, that price in between, that amount in between. If I had to start from years ago, from the beginning and do it over, similar with Lim, like driving for dollars, but even with driving for dollars, that requires gas money. Like I'm talking about dead broke. What I would do is I'm gonna use Google Maps. And I'm gonna drive for dollars on there.
Okay.
So boom. Say I meet
About to drop some heat.
yeah, bro. So say I meet an end buyer like yourself. Say you buy in West Philly 19143, right? I know that you buy a lot of properties. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find 5 buyers like you. You feel me? Focus on different zip codes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in Google Maps, and I'm going to drive on Google Maps, or you mean not drive, but I'm going to go on Google Maps every day, and I'm going to get at least 50 properties. Once I do that, if I don't have no money after that step, I get on Google Maps. What you're looking for is houses that's messed up. You feel me? Google Maps do a good job of updating, you know, like 2025 picture stuff like that. So I'm going to go through these streets, bro, and I'm literally looking for houses that's messed up on Google Maps. Same thing as driving for dollars, but I'm doing it at the comfort of my house, and I don't have to spend no money on gas.
That's fire.
You feel me? So boom. If I was starting over, I would do that 50 properties a day, right? So at the end of that week, say I only do Monday through Friday, I get, 250 properties. I'm going to use True People Search. I don't have no money, so I'm going to do single skip tracing to get these homeowners' contact information. So Saturday, Sundays, I'm using those days to call these homeowners.
So what's skip tracing?
So skip tracing is me finding once you find these properties,
Right.
you have to find their contact information. Skip
Okay.
tracing is me finding those homeowners' contact information for that property. You feel me? So boom, 123 Main Street. I'm finding out who the homeowner is. I'm putting that address in True People Search, and that's going to give me a phone number, maybe a couple phone numbers, and it also is going to give me some relatives. So boom,
That's
say
fire.
if say you had a crib in Philly, right? 123 Main Street came up as Daryl. You know, he got a house in Philly, but the number that I see for you is not working.
The government was crazy, by the way.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's wild. So I'm going to call your sister. I'm going to call your mom. I'm going to call whoever with the same last name as you that's associated with that property. And I'm going to just simply ask, are you interested in selling your property? You know what I mean? Also, to learn the game as well, I would try to work under somebody. So like when first starting, it's a lot to learn within the game.
Right.
So instead of asking people, yo, give me a bunch of game, listen, how can I help you out? So I'm gonna hit somebody up like me that's kind of they've been doing it for not to be cocky, but been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask, listen, Jamal, what can I do to make your day easier? You know what I mean? How can I learn from you? You add some value to a person, and that way you learning. You know what I mean? So that's the two things I would do. I would Google Maps, driving for dollars, and then I'm a hit up somebody that I know is stamped in the industry, and see how I can help them. And that's how that's what I would do if I'm starting from zero.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's a
What
good
about
game.
you,
I think
Ant?
my stuff is kind of going to piggyback yours, right? So, like I introduced myself earlier, right? I'm Ant Bird Guy, right? Bird Strategy. So with me, I'm buying a house, rehabbing a house, renting it, refinancing, and repeat, right? I guess the two things I would stress if I'm starting from zero, like Molly said, it's networking, right? So the way I probably would approach networking is probably attending real estate meetups. If I could, like if I'm local in my market of where I want to invest, I would definitely recommend those. Like Molly said, I wouldn't approach people with the conversation of like, hey, can you be my mentor, right? Because most people can tell you like, yo, get out of my face. Because my real estate mentor, I don't even think he knows he's my mentor, right? Like, I do think that in this space, if you're seeking knowledge, people will give it to you if you ask the right questions and you also understand that you need to shut up and listen, right? So with me, I would recommend attending state real estate meetups. With the Burr model, you need different people, right? You're probably going to need a lender. You're probably going to need a contractor. And you're probably going to need at least a realtor. Well, probably a realtor, right, to help you find your tenants. I mean, you could do that yourself, but in theory, you need at least those 3 people I would recommend.
Right.
And then the 4th with an asterisk would be like property management, unless you have that level of experience, right? So I would recommend networking so you could develop your team, or at least have an idea who you're going to use for what. You don't necessarily have to meet all of these people individually. Sometimes people can refer you, right? So if I know Molly's a wholesaler, right, and he's acting as my realtor, he may also be able to refer me to Lem, who's a contractor, right? Because usually, like we said in previous episodes, people that do good business tend to do business with other people that also do good business, right? And then the second thing I will kind of harp on is understanding my market or your market that you want to get into. And that's really like the number one thing I tell people when they hit me up. Like a lot of people are like, hey, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, where?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever knows. Right? It's like frustrating
Right.
/ annoying, right?
Yeah, before you talk to a expert or someone that can possibly be a mentor or somebody that's stamped in your field, before you talk to them, you need to do your due diligence so that they know that you're serious and that I can actually take you serious.
Yeah, if not, you're
I
gonna
don't want to
sound
waste
crazy.
I don't want to waste my time and
Mm.
energy talking to you and you're not even taking yourself serious. So come to me with some type of information to show me that you've actually done some work on your own too.
Yeah, because if not, you're gonna sound crazy, right?
Mhm.
So
For sure. Unless you like Moldy, because he sound like he want a free mentee or something like that. That's what he sound
Nah,
like.
that's-
So I
bro,
don't know.
I'm telling you, bro.
yeah, he wants
it's-
like free labor. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's what it
something.
sounded like he
Nah,
wanted.
bro. It worked, bro. If when people come to me and they don't got no money, but they looking for some guidance, but they willing to work, bro, I'll teach you everything you need to know. If I need some calls that day, go make these calls. But them calls is you're gonna learn something from it. And then
I respect
you
it.
meet with me once a week, whatever that is, you're gonna get that, bro. That's a free mentorship.
I
I
respect
done
it.
showed you the ins and outs of my business for free.
I think the big thing though, like you're expressing, is the fact that like you like that person is taking them, like Lim says, taking themselves serious enough
Mhm.
that you take them serious. That's really like what it is.
Facts.
Like either you got it or you don't.
Facts.
But yeah, like back to my point, right? Like understanding where you want to invest, because your market is going to determine a big part of your business model, right? Like that
Mhm.
might be the difference of you buying houses that's $10,000 or buying houses right in a zip code that's $1 million. So you need to understand where you want to invest, right?
Mhm.
That's the first part of it. And then based off of understanding that particular market, the second step would then be understanding how to now perform like due diligence, right? Like how to run your numbers based off
Mhm.
that market.
So two things with you. The first question is like how if I'm new, you know what I mean? How you said networking events, is it a certain way that I can find different networking events?
Well, I
or
recommend
go
it like
to?
real estate meetups, right? There's just different ways you could do them. You could Google them, right? Like I've seen
Okay.
them Facebook. I've seen Bigger Pockets hosts them. One of my boys recently like started his own, like which people
Tough.
recommend too. Like if you can't find one in your zip code and you like in a smaller area,
Mhm.
right? Or like maybe more suburban, it's not heavily populated. Like bro, start your own.
It's tough.
It like
Yeah.
a lot of the meetups too, or networking events, whatever you want to call them. A lot of them are super like informal. It's like it'd be like at a bar.
Come as you are.
Yeah,
type
come as
stuff.
you are, and it's literally real estate professionals just chopping it up, passing out business cards, realtors,
Right.
like I said, lenders, handyman, property managers. The last one I went to in Maryland like was pretty dope. It's literally everybody from different facets of real estate, and you kind of just insurance, like you just moving around, introducing, saying like, this is me, this is what I do, and people saying like, okay, this is what I do, and then you trying to like understand like I guess how you can now take those services and implement in your business. So for me, like my big thing when I went there with a game plan, right?
Mhm.
And that's another thing I would recommend when you attend these, right? Like I knew I wanted to meet contractors and I knew
Right.
I wanted to meet tenant placement people.
Mm.
Like who could bring me the vouchers and who could fix the cribs. I kind of like had the relationships with the lending side and the property management side. So in regards to the Burr model, right? It was the R, the rehab, well, the first R, right? The renovation, like who can do that? And then for rent, which is literally the next R within the Burr model, right? Rent, who can bring me good tenants.
Right.
And I was there listening, talking, you drinking, right?
Mhm.
Don't get too smacked, right? But yeah, they like, yo, this is Morley. He owns, Jamal's
sure.
That's exactly
tenant
how I
placement
go,
company.
bro.
I'm like, all right, cool. That's the guy I need to pull up on. And that's literally how that went. And you go introduce yourself, exchange some numbers, and then that's literally was a contact with
Right.
my business model.
So, and then the second question was how do you? I know you kept saying like kind of learn your market and stuff like that. How if I don't
So
if I
I
don't
feel
know
like
nothing about a market, what I'm
so
doing?
I feel like that's a really like interesting question because I think it kind of depends on your circumstances, right?
Mhm.
So a big thing would be like for some people that I live in New York, right? That's a really expensive market, right? Probably the most, but probably besides like LA, Miami's pretty expensive, and then you got like San Francisco, right? But New York on the East Coast, one of the most
Mhm.
expensive markets. If you know like you probably can't afford to invest or start off investing in a market like New York, then I guess my follow-up question would be like, what are some of the more inexpensive markets or more reasonable markets, right? And then at that point, it may be like, for me, my thought process is like, what markets are close that I could drive to,
Mm.
right? And not kill myself. So Maryland was one, and I also chose that one initially because I also had contacts there. I also have relationships there. But
Mhm.
Philly's another one, right? Like Philly from the town, right? It's hour and a half, 2 hours, and then
Right.
Baltimore's 3.5 hours, right? For some people, like I know I had some of my coworkers that just invested in upstate New York. The drive was fairly long, right? Like 6 hours, because New York a big ass state. But the flight was only 40 minutes.
So that.
And that market is fairly cheap, right? Like upstate New York. So it just depends on what your tolerance is and then what works for you. Like if you work for an airline, you could fly for free. Then maybe you go somewhere, you feel me, that's an hour flight that you could kind of, plant your flag.
So
But what I would recommend for people too, in regards to the birth strategies, like I've heard people say like they want to buy a crib, let's say the Poconos, and then they buy one in Philly, and then they buy one in Maryland, then they buy one like in Atlanta. Like they can start spreading themselves out, and that's really difficult because you gotta like reestablish those relationships in each market. So if you got 5 cribs in 5 different cities, that means you need 5 handymen, you need 5 lenders, you need
Right.
5 property managers. Like you need 5 different people to help you run your business and manage and solve those problems. Versus like if you can identify a market, whether it's Cleveland, Maryland, Philly, Pittsburgh, right? Like some of those markets that's more affordable. You only got to meet, one person that specializes in that one area of business, and then, once you kind of identify your market, understand how to analyze your deals, you just run it up. The Bird model is intended to be like rinse and repeat. So once you execute it, the last R literally is repeat. Once you do that, continue the
just
process.
keep running the play.
I like what you just said, and this is what I was about to bring up. You say analyzing a deal. Now that's something that we all can agree that you need to simulate a deal, buying, rehab, selling, right? You need to run these numbers before you even buy a property
Yeah, I
or
would say-
invest so that now,
I would
once
say,
it's
like-
time, you already know what's up.
I would say in regards to analyzing deals, I don't care, like you said, whether it's mobile home investing, whether it's like wholesaling, or even it's the Bird model. Like you probably need to do that like 50 to 100
Bro,
or
prac-
hundreds of times, right?
Get them
Like-
reps in, bro.
like
You
mental
got to.
reps, right? Like understanding, like Lim, like yo, I'm buying for 2, right? Like this particular mobile home, right? This style A, right? Based off this square footage, I could buy for 5, I could put in 3, I could exit at 15, and understand that like, okay, I'm gonna make 7. Therefore, like when Morley calls Lim with the wholesale lead of like, yo, I got this, off the top of your head, you can run that deal with confidence.
Right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at a deal, and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do my research so that I know what a deal can sell for, right? So once I know what it can sell for, I'm gonna look at, okay, how much would the rehab cost for me to sell it for that amount, right? Then after that, I look at those numbers and now I know the price that I need to buy the home at so that I can make whatever profit that I want. And you need to do this, like what Ann said, 50 to 100 times all the time. So once you have the capital and you're ready to get in the game, you're ready to just press play because you already did your due diligence.
Because
Already.
you got to keep in mind too, like when you starting from zero, right, or you're a new investor, like nobody cares. Right, like it's unfortunate, but that's just the real part of the game. So nobody's gonna say like, "Oh, Jamal, we understand it's your first time. Take your time and run your numbers."
No.
Right, like you got Lim, looking at the deals, like, nah, I need that. So
Then I'm gonna beat you to it every time unless you on point.
Facts.
yeah,
And,
Facts.
and
speed
just
kills.
with analyzing real briefly, bro, when I like, it's important to run your numbers and learn ASAP. So like the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at cash comps, and I'm looking at that ARV, which is the fixed up property on the back end. And those the first 2 numbers I'm always finding first whenever I get a lead. So you gotta be fast with doing that, and that takes the reps. That's the reps. But if you can get to that number, I'm gonna beat out a lot of other wholesalers because I know my numbers like this, and I'm not locking up houses too high because I know what the cash comps are going for, and I know the ARV on the
Right.
back end, which is the 2 most important numbers.
And like you said, Molly, the only difference I would add, right, with the birth strategies, another number that I'm looking at, I'm analyzing what houses are selling for, like you said, for purchase, as well as ARV
Right,
or
right.
after repair value, and then the third one would be with the rent amount,
Mhm.
because that's ultimately what's going to determine
For
cash flow,
sure.
right? So, I will run the rental comps, right? See what like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. If that's what I'm buying, or that's what I'm making the property into. Let's say the number's 2,500, and then I'll usually like run it on like on one of the mortgage calculator apps,
Okay.
right? Usually, you always want to estimate high, right? But if I know like after I plug in my taxes, insurance, right, and my mortgage is let's say $1,500, and I'm renting for $2,500, I know that spread in the middle, which is a band, right? Like that's what I'm looking at with cash flow. Minus minor expenses, whether it's like property manager or water. But like, yeah, like if that's my rough numbers, then I know like that's a good door. Like I need that.
Right. So we need to be networking, right?
Yeah.
Just networking, and just being a sponge, learning everything you can and getting your reps in.
Getting them reps in.
Getting your reps
1,000
in.
hours.
And that's all things that you can do for free.
Yeah, I forgot you used to play basketball.
For free.
Yeah, jump shot
1,000
thing.
hours in.
Yeah.
For real.
10,000
So
hours.
yeah, definitely. And any questions that you have specifically, you can write us personally or you can write us on at the Money Room Pod and we'll answer all of your questions on future episodes. All right. You can ask anything, please. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Tell them where you can find them at, Molly.
You can find me on Instagram at Molly5. Anything wholesale related, hit me up, ask me questions. Let's do some deals together. Let's get it popping.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at Living Good Ant. Like Molly said, anything bird related, hit me up. If you got some clips for me, let me know. I'll buy them.
Facts. Yeah.
I need all of them.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
We're not buying season.
Any
right?
deal
Yeah.
that you have, you need help on or something you hesitate about, let me know. We could team up.
Yo, I got
All right.
one quick thing too, Lynn, before I guess you get into your piece.
What?
Which Molly is, I guess, been showing us a lot recently, right? In regards to like the whole mentorship. Like if you want help, bring somebody a deal.
Bro,
Bring me a deal.
We seen
the
that like
podcast
recently.
got me two JV deals. Bro.
Right. So like if you
Yeah.
want to learn from somebody, bring somebody a deal. That's how you gonna learn.
Find me a deal.
All right, Lynn, where they can
For
find you
sure.
at?
You can find me at Young Lim on the gram. Make sure y'all follow the Money Room at the Money Room Pod on the gram. Subscribe to the YouTube. You can find us on TikTok as well. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.